Welcome, brothers and sisters. My name is Eros and I am the Doll Maker. Now, today we will talk a little more, even more about Ostara on an advanced level, so I won't go too easy on you. And I am presuming you watched the previous video on the intermediate level. Presuming this, I will read a little more because I don't want to lose any notes I prepared. A great way to approach this festivity of Ostara for a more experienced practitioner is to look at this festivity or festival, as you prefer, as the marriage of the fertility goddess representing the divine feminine in the archetype of the maiden, of course, with the sun god in ascension. The work this image is suggesting is planetary in its nature, hexagrammatical in its approach, and three-folded in its execution. Let me explain a little more myself. The first work we may want to do is the stabilization of the sun, invoking his power and stabilizing it within us. Remembering this is not invoke. We are not invoking the newborn rising sun that needs to be nourished. We are instead invoking the stabilized sun, radiating success, knowledge, and confidence, nourishing the earth with the brilliance of his natural intrinsic splendor. And this is the main working, because of course the equinox is a point of stabilization, and working through the hexagram with visualization we regulate the sun, of course, within us, while interiorizing his power through the lesser banishing ritual, which of course will be performed at the end of the hexagram. If we want to go further, we may proceed with the stabilization of the moon, also invoking her power, digging deep within us, and fighting against her illusions and our delusions to rediscover our true needs, to listen to our true will, stripped of deceptions, and execute it in our reality. If we want to go even further, the third working is the invoking of Venus, but in a most feminine, welcoming, nurturing nature, appreciating the opportunities and the doors being opened for us. Of course, we need to remain extremely balanced and grounded in this working, using emotions to feed and fuel our desire, avoiding to be dominated and blinded by our emotions, ending up dwelling in envy and delusions. And if you allow me the joke, keep in mind that on Venus, sulfuric acid may rain from the sky. So you don't want to get caught on the storm of emotions, if you know what I mean. Of course, a simplified version of these workings can be done with a deep understanding of the planetary associations engraved in the middle pillar ritual. Of course, modified to focus on more planetary associated working. So modified to focus on the planetary spheres. Of course, if you want to simplify the work for you, you may want to use planetary sigils to make the work easier. Either visualized or drawn on the body or positioned on your altar. All of these workings may be considered, alchemically speaking, like the early stages of the transformation of the salt in mercury. Of course, this process requires yearly testing and adjustments, but most of all, grounding and stabilization of the process. The festivity is also an outstanding opportunity to observe and or support the rise of the horned god archetype, of course, in his many names and forms, often subjected to the process of demonization from the Abrahamic or Abrahamic, a little lapsus in this case, religions. Of course, it will be completely impossible to list all the gods related to the masculine, dominant, overwhelming, and sensual power. So I will bring just a few examples for you. For my brothers and sisters of the Celtic traditions, they may want to call on Cernunnos, the green god. For my brothers and sisters of more Norse pagan tradition, they may want to call on Freyr, which of course is the brother of Freya. And Freyr quite literally means Lord in his name. For my brothers and sisters with a more ceremonial / ritualistic approach, they may want to call forth King Belial. And of course, for my brothers and sisters with a more Christianic approach, they may want to call within or forth St. Patrick. St. Patrick of Ireland, of course. But please do remember, St. Patrick is usually celebrated on the 17th of March. So a little before this festivity, if you want to celebrate his feast. Please do remember, through either the work of evocation or the planetary work, as described before, you will also discover more specialized and personal meditations for the festivity and or the season. Now, getting toward the end of this lesson, I want to talk a little more about the correspondence of the season I've quoted before, so insects. More often than not, insects have considered to have a single or a fistful of correspondences. This can't be further from the truth. Entomological magic workings have an amazing degree of variety and diversification, and need to be taken in consideration case by case. So please do remember this. For example, the earthworm is the most amazing natural fertilizer, bringing riches and prosperity deep in the earth, while on the opposite side, the cockroach bring fear and ruin. On a last note, keep in mind to pursue balance in this walking, as perfectly exemplified in the symbol of the regular cross, indicating stability and stabilities between solstices and equinoxes. Not to be confused with the more known Christianic cross, indicating the position of the Sephiroth of the Tree of Life within the human body. As always, doing the planetary work, banish after invoking and grounding. Okay? So, I know this is a lot of information. If you need to check out the video from the beginning, feel free to do so. It's completely normal to do so. But if you arrived at this point, I honor you, I thank you for your kind attention, and may eternal light shine upon you.